Results are rolling in for this year's general election. We're going to start with the Blair County Commissioner's race.
Yeah, 4 candidates were vying for the 3 seats, and of those, newcomer, a Republican candidate, Amy Webster, took the top spot. Republican incumbent Bruce Erb was second, and the final seat taken by Democratic candidate Laura Burke. Now, the race has been a close one for the Republican side. Bruce Erb narrowly beat out Bruce Kelly in the primary, and we caught up with Erb and Amy Webster about their plans moving forward.
I feel very confident. I had great reaction at the polls today. My poll workers said the same thing, and I think momentum had gone in our way very well.
The appeals process for reassessment. I think we can set that up pretty quickly, get that process going, and then move on to the economic issues that we have and just all the things that are facing the drug crisis. And I have some ideas of things that we can do, and I really want to get into those important big issues.
Webster talking about her priorities. Our Morgan Kosiar is covering the Democratic side of this race.
She joined us now live from Altoona. Now, Morgan, Laura Burke beat incumbent Ted Beam Jr. tonight. You caught up with her today. What did she say about her plans?
That's right, Amanda. The big race tonight, Blair County Commissioner's race, the big question is, you know, what Democratic candidate would be taking home that 3rd commissioner seat? And it does look like at this point the race has been called. Laura Burke will be taking home that win. And I did catch up with Laura earlier about her top priorities in her new role as commissioner.
One of my top priorities during my campaign has been increasing transparency and communication, both from the commissioners to the public and then from the commissioners internally to county employees. I just think we need to restore some of the trust that we've lost over the last few years through the reassessment process.
And I do want to welcome in, we do have incumbent Ted Beam here live. Come on in here, Ted. Obviously not the results that you had hoped for tonight, but talk about how you were feeling as you were watching those numbers come in.
Well, I was somewhat disappointed. I think we gave the people a list of our accomplishments over the past 8 years, and I think they were credible accomplishments. It's obvious that the one issue that people still have on their mind is reassessment. I would not change my opinion. I think it was needed. It was the right thing for the county, and it will benefit the county going down the road. But the people made their decisions, and I will accept their decisions as is the American way.
And as over the course of your 8 years as serving, what things are you most proud of?
I'm just proud of all the things that we were able to accomplish and the things that we got done, that even the small things that helped the county. One of the bigger things, I think, was the arrangement that kept the Altoona curve here in Altoona. I don't think people understand how important that was, because if we had not come up with that arrangement to help the curve with the maintenance of that stadium, I think the curve would be out of here and the stadium would be sitting empty. So that's one of our big accomplishments. But the people have made their choice, and I accept that. I want to congratulate Laura Burke. I think Laura will be a fine commissioner, and she'll do a very good job. So I want to make sure that that's clear, that I congratulate her.
Yes, very good. Thank you very much.
Thank
Incumbent
you.
Ted Beam here. We do want to remind you, so Laura Burke is now the new Blair County Democratic Commissioner. So live in Altoona, Morgan Kosiar, WTAJ News.
All right, Morgan, thank you. Let's check in now with our political analysts.
Yeah, Jordan Tracy joined by Terry Tomasetti and Jack Barlow. Jordan?
Hey, good evening, guys. We just heard Ted Beam there talking about the loss tonight. Terry, let's start with you. What did you think about how this race shook out?
It was an issue of whether Laura would be able to overcome, I think, his incumbency. I think, as I said earlier, that she ran a very good ground game, maybe a little silent, but very good ground game, canvassing, postcards, etc. Got the support from groups she needed, Democrat groups. And I think she was helped a little bit by the effort behind Amy Webster. Those people came out indicating they did not want to see Ted Beam as commissioner again. She ran a very good campaign. I think Ted handled this very well. It's difficult when you lose. I've been there. And I wish them both the best.
And Dr. Barlow, you can comment here about one issue being the reassessment. How much motivation do you think one issue could motivate voters to kind of come out and vote like that?
Well, especially in local elections, one issue will do that. And we've seen that in other elections, but we certainly saw it here with the reassessment. Yeah.
Guys, thank you very much. We're going to toss over to more results. Over with John and Amanda from your election hub. I'm Jordan Tracy. Back to you guys.